I am Johan Van Synghel and I am programmer of dynamic components in SketchUp. With this exercise I will show you how to draw a cabinet starting from two parts. Sorry for my English, but I do my best to make it clear how I want to explain you how to create a cabinet. Starting part 1. I make a cabinet with a fixed part height of 2 centimeters. I will create a component of this part here, and that is the horizontal part. Horizontal. Create. I go to my attributes, and here with that plus I can call everything that has connection with size. Here you can see that the height of this part is 2 centimeters, 0.2. It has to be 2, and to fix it on 2, and with fixing it is impossible to change it afterwards via scaling, by example. This is the depth of this part. I will fix it on 50. Later we will change that to something that the user can decide via a dialog box. Same for this one. I will fix it for the moment on 100, not equal 100, because I will change it later by something that the user can decide. So this one is now 100 centimeters in length, 50 in depth, and 2 centimeters, and these 2 centimeters is fixed. By the way, if you want to see what formula is behind the value you can see here 2 centimeters because I have typed there equal 2. So it is fixed to 2 centimeters. So when I try to scale this one, he will return to 2 centimeters because I have fixed it to this one. Not for this size here of 100 or depth of 50, because if I make it longer, it will be longer. And the number here marking now 133 is changed because I have changed the size via scale. Same for depth. You can change it because it's not fixed. And if you fix it, by example this one, if it should be x100 equal 100, then it will be 100, and you may do what you want. It will be always that size who is fixed here via an equal sign before the size. Now I will remove this because I want to make it a variable. Voila, just 100. And now I will make the second one. The second part of my cabinet will be a part who is standing up. This one. I make a component of it. 1, 2, 3. Right component, and this will be the vertical part. Vertical. Create. And now again I have also via attributes again the possibility to call everything who has connection with size. Now you can see this direction here is the red direction here. You can see this is now standing for the height of this part, and this is this one here, and I will fix it on 2 like I have done here. It is fixed on 2. It's not in the blue direction because he's standing up now, and it is this direction here, red. For height, I will take 100 also. I don't fix it, but because I want to change the height via a user interface. Same for this one, I will change it to 50 for the moment. Oh, is this not 50? This one has to be 50 also. Voilà. Now these two parts that are both are that components, these two parts I make one new component of these two parts. So select them all, choose make component, and we call this one cabinet. Create. Now you can see in the attribute list that we have the cabinet existing of one horizontal part and a vertical part. These two parts create one cabinet. So if I click on the whole, it will be showing all the parts of that cabinet. If I double click, I will see only the information about this one attribute, of this one component. If I click on the other one, I will see the information about the other component. But if I click once on the whole cabinet, then I will see everything inside the one cabinet component. So if I want to change a height, by example, via the user interface, the user who should have the possibility to change the height, well, you can here click on that plus sign. You can change the name in who's now marking enter name to something like the H for height. That's the letter I use. You can call it height also, double click, and you can change it in height. It makes no difference, it's only a name. And this here will be the formula who creates the height. The formula here is not really a formula, it is something that the user can put in via a user dialog box. And to make a dialog box where users can change, by example here in that case height, you can click on this details button. Click on this detail button and you will see that the display rule is now, and you can see that here, is now something that user cannot see. You see nothing here at all. If you change this one to, by example, something that the user can see, then you will see, if I click on apply, that the user can see what the height is of what I have here of number. By example, let's say 100 and enter, and voila, here you have the result, but you can't change it. You can't change it as user. You can only see. Here, if I click again on details, I can change it in, by example, the user can edit as a text box. Just the same, if I click on apply, it will change in a dialog box where the user now in this time can change the value. By example, 200. Apply, and you will see he's taking the value in the attribute list. It's not yet connected to the horizontal or vertical component because I haven't done anything for the moment. First I will change something else here again. I call again this detail button, and I see here my demand for subscription of the demand is height. The user can change it in a dialog box, but it will be no text. It will be a value, and a value, in my case, I do it in centimeters, so I will call the user. And tell him that I want this value in centimeters. It's more clear that it shows centimeters when I want to mount centimeters. You can change it to something else also, but I do it in centimeters. And the result will be no text, but also centimeters. The result. So I demand it in centimeters, and the result will be calculated in centimeters. Apply. Voila. You see here a change because it was first text. We change it, by example, in 100. Apply. And now you see here 100 centimeter. The user can see also the remark of centimeter. As soon as he's changing this, apply, it will change here automatically in the attribute list. Now I can link this height to, by example, the vertical height of that part of this cabinet. So if I click on that triangle here, I can open everything and see everything concerning the size of that part. And I see here len Z, that's the vertical directional length, that now it is marked 100 and it is not connected to anything. If I double click, I can change it by equal, and now, just like in Excel, point to something that has to have this value. Click, and he change it in a sort of reference to that part of that attribute list. Enter. And now you will see, if I change this one here, in, by example, 110, apply, it changes also the height. If I change it to 50, it will change the height automatically because it is linked. And I can do the same thing with depth of that cabinet. So if I have here, in that case, in the cabinet component, click on Add Attribute on plus, and I type depth. Okay, something like this. And here I can demand for a user can edit as a text box. I will demand for a centimeter value, and I will calculate my value in centimeter. And that's the subscription of how you demand the depth of that cabinet. I will change it in, by example, 55, apply. You see here it's taking the value of what the user is typed in. And now I will link this one to this. So this is equal to what I will have as value there. Enter. And it will change automatically. I can do the same with that horizontal part. So I go to horizontal, and I see here the depth, and I double clicked, and I point here to depth, sorry. Depth, enter. And I can do, I can make here another one for the size value of that cabinet. So I do here width. Width. I don't know how to write it. Width is not equal, but via detail. This width, I think it's written like that. Yeah. It will be asked in centimeter, and I will calculate it in centimeter. Apply. Okay, I have here, by example, 100 as width. Apply. Okay, here I have width of that horizontal part. This one, the red direction is the length of that part. So this length will be the width the user is typed in the dialog box. So I can play with the values here. So I can change it to 120 and, by example, 40 for depth, for height of that cabinet. No, sorry, 140 of that height of the cabinet, and 40 for depth, and so on. So you see, you have every time the things you want. Okay, now we can copy this one to the other side, and the horizontal one to the upper side of that cabinet. And how you do that is via the copy option. Here, if you click on the attribute list, you will see that you have a sample of of a list of options you have to choose from. This here is everything concerning how you give the information to the user of what is, by example, written in here. But we will do that later. That is everything concerning the location of that component. Here in that case, this concerning the location of that whole component, and that is something that we will never change, because otherwise you can only put that one component in that place in distance to that point. We will never change that because we want to add that cabinet everywhere we want. This is everything concerning everything about size, but the whole size of the cabinet, the whole size. Everything about rotation, everything about behaviors. By example, if you click on a door and you want to open a door, well, you will have to use the click one, the on-click one. And this is everything about the design, the form of this dialog box. The component options dialog box can be larger or higher, and so on. And that's all. What we need here is something concerning behavior, and this is this one. It's not the easiest one to explain how it is working, but if I want to have a copy of this one over here, a copy, that means if I make a copy and I change something on this one, the copy of the original one, the copy will change also. So if I change the size of this one, the other one will change also in size. So I make a copy, and if I click on copy, he will ask me for a formula. Now for this one, I don't need a formula, because in this cabinet, from this, sorry, that's not here that I have to do it. Okay, it has to become, it is this one, the vertical one. If I click on add attributes, it's concerning this one. Not everything, just here, in this one, the vertical one. I click on copies. I need only one copy. This one, this side is only one copy of this one. So I click here, one. I need only one copy. And where I have to copy this one is this location. Now, for the moment, we haven't done anything about location of that vertical part. Because if I click on this plus sign, you see here everything about location, position. So I click on this add all option, because I can do one after the other or all together in one click. So I have them all here. I have them now all. That's the position of that part. That part, this position is in connection with the cabinet, not this 0 point here. It is in this point. If you take this point as 0, 0, 0, 0 depth, 0 height, and 0 width, then is this point the 0 point. You can see, by the way, that 0 point if you double click on it. You click on your cabinet and you will see now my 0 point inside my dynamic component is here. You see now here the direction of blue, red, and green starting from here. So if I go outside, voilà, this is my cabinet. This one, this vertical one, is starting from in the red direction on 0, and it will be always 0. So I change it to equal to 0. I don't want that this part of the cabinet ever have the possibility to change of location. Those always have to be there. In the height, it will be in the depth part. Sorry, in depth it will be 0 also. So I change it in 0. And in height, it is positioned 2 centimeters above the horizontal one. So I change it in equal to, because the height is always 2. So you can see here this was 0 and this is 2 centimeters higher. So he's positioned 2 centimeters higher. If I change it in 1, by example, or 0, 0, you will see it is now put on 0, but it's inside the other one. So I change it back to 2. Now he's standing on the other one. And I can do the same for this one, for this horizontal part. So if I click on this one, position, you will see he has 0 for width, 0 height, 0, and everything has to stay on 0. So I don't have ever a chance to change it. Voila. It's always fixed. It's always fixed. It's all fixed. Now I have to work with that copy option here. And that copy of this one has to stand here. And how you do that? You see here the position is equal to 0 for the first one, for this one. And here you have to have a formula where you can say that you have an original one here and a copy so much further. First, we need to know how much further. And that is here in that case the width of that cabinet. So I make here in vertical, here inside the attributes of that horizontal part, excuse me. Yeah, vertical part. In that vertical part, we'll here make a remark for width. And width is something that I will change as user by adding data herein. So if I click equal to what will be the result of what user typed, enter, you click on equal and point to this one. So here you can see cabinet W. If I click on this option here, you will see the value he's taking from that link you point to. So this is the width. Now I want to have a copy of this vertical part on the other side. And now I know how width that cabinet is. Here in that case, double click on that formula, and here is written equal 0, and that stays for this part of that, the first part of that component. Then type plus, and then you add a value, so you can say here that the copy will be how much further. Here in that case, click to point to that value here, so it takes the name width in that formula, so it is written now 0 plus width, and then multiply by copy. And in that case, look what I'm typing here. I am typing copy, not copies, but let's look, just like you can see copy, enter. And now you see in my drawing I have one copy on the other side. Is equal to the size we have given, the position of the copy is equal to the size we have given for width. And now you see he's 2 centimeters too far, because this is the 0 point of that component, and that 0 point should be here, because otherwise it is too wide. So here in my formula I have used, I can change something in that formula. So width will be 120, who is okay, but it should be -2. Here in that case, change the formula with a bracket, and then type here after width -2 and close the brackets. Enter. And now you see it is changed in 120 minus this 2 centimeters. And now it is okay, and you can experiment with your data you put in as user, and you will see it will make automatically a copy who is standing on the other side. And so we have with one part already the second part for the right side of the cabinet. You can do the same thing here for this one. So if I take, by example, here add attributes, I can choose from list here copies. In copy behavior, I will only one copy. It's only one I need. And here in that formula, it is in this direction, so in the Z direction, that I want to have a copy over there. So if I double click on this here for position 0, you will see it's equal to 0. That is okay for the first one. But here I will write plus, and now I want to have a reference to height. And now you see I don't have one here. It's better that I make one first. So here I make a new variable, an attribute for height. So I type height again. Here it is in this attribute list, and I point equal to what I will have from result there. Now again to my formula, back to my formula, plus just equal 0 is the position of the first one, and the second one will be on that location, multiply by copy, enter. And now you see we have one here. We have one on the top side of that cabinet. If you make look for the height of that cabinet, you see my height should be 110, and I see that my height is now in total 112. So 2 centimeters too much. So two things have to happen, have to change. The height of this one should change in the length of the total height minus these 2 centimeters, because this one is going on top of it. And this one will be the right, I should be lowered by 2 centimeters, because this one here, the horizontal one on top, is starting from here on. Indeed, this is the right size and height, but it should be here because he has already set himself 2 centimeters. So I can change my formula here that I have made for height, and I change it in brackets height minus 2 and close brackets. So this is already okay, but this one here should be changed in height. And it should be changed not only by 2 centimeters, because I am standing here on top of this one, so it's 2 centimeters starting higher than the other one. And I have to have a length minus 2 centimeters of this one, so I have subtract from this one in height 4 centimeters. And I can change that by going to the length here, the length of this one, vertical here, vertical length 110 should be the total height minus 4. This total height minus 4, and now it's okay. And now you can see my cabinet will change in the size that I want to correct via us as user. 120, the width is, for example, 90. Apply. Voila. And you see, everything works. This is part 1. I do in a moment the rest of that cabinet.